Good evening. Welcome to the PMBC meeting for Wednesday, July 9th. It's 7:03. We'll begin the meeting. We do not have any warrants tonight. The first order of business is to approve the amended meeting minutes of 6:25, which were sent out by me and by Marilyn. Were there any comments or discussion?
No, I thought they were fine.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the minutes as edited for 6:25:25. We'll do a roll call vote. Bob,
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett,
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
Tim. You're on mute, Tim.
Sorry, Tim, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Motion carries. Senior Shaker Lane School feasibility update. The OPM submitted the schematic design to the MSBA on June 26. Since then, there have been numerous emails back and forth between MSBA, the township, and the OPM and the designer, asking for clarifications and additional information. We're in the process of providing that information. The next step is the MSBA board meets on August 27th to approve the schematic design. And after that, we're kind of on hold until town meeting because the next step is design development. And we can't proceed with that until we get additional funding. So that's it on Shaker Lane. Senior Center.
Question.
What's that?
Sorry, question.
Yeah.
Can we view the schematic design?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Sorry, is the schematic design documents, are they available on the website to view them?
I don't know. Jim, do you know that?
I don't know, Tim, but I will, I'll make sure they're distributed to the chairman and the PMBC for your information.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the file. You know,
Get a link.
Yeah, we might have to provide you a link.
Okay.
That would be great.
Yep. Not a problem.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
The senior center.
Everyone except, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Everyone except for Bartlett.
What?
That's stricken from the record.
Fair enough.
Senior center update. The project's in closeout. There will be another deduct change order being presented probably at the next meeting. I did send out the updates from the OPM because they can't be here tonight. So I sent it out to the committee members. And the senior center, I'm sorry, the 36 King Street is also in closeout. Both of those updates were provided by the OPM, sent to the committee. Any questions or comments on those?
Steve, are we going to get to see the DCAM evaluations for both of them?
You know, that's a good question. I did see that in there. I think the last time we did participate, didn't we?
Well, we reviewed them after Brian and company scored them. So
yeah, and I think actually Ryan Ferrara downgraded the score for the roofing company by 2 points.
Hi, so it's Eric Durba here. I'm on now as a panelist. Sorry about that. I had to join from my phone. But yeah, we are pursuing the DCAM for the senior center.
So will the committee be able to participate in that, Eric?
I believe so. I'm gonna be off for the next 4 days, and Diane Dickerson is gonna be off for a little bit with her knee surgery. But we'll try and get as much information back as we can from Commodore and Vertex.
I thought her knee surgery was on the 16th. No.
No,
Um,
it's,
it's
she left today and the surgery is scheduled for Monday.
Oh,
14th.
good for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
but she might be out for a couple of weeks. She said she's going to try and be attentive to email as much as possible for next after next week. So
Yeah, we don't want her responding to email when she's on narcotics.
Right.
Editorial comment. Been there, done that. So yeah, that would be great if we can participate in that DCAM review anyway.
so all the
Police.
information has been sent to them, so they do have the info.
Who is they?
DCAM.
Did you say it? The DCAM scoring has been sent to DCAM?
I believe Vertex has sent all the information to DCAM from the project.
Yeah, you know what we did. You know, Bob, we did participate in this DCAM
For the senior center.
evaluation. Maybe when Brian Ferraro was still here.
Yeah, so I think all that documentation has been prepared, and we're just waiting for the final closeout documentation from Vertex, which I believe George is going to receive on Friday from Joe, who's their project closeout guy.
Okay.
Steve, I think we did the senior center. We did that.
We did.
I was talking about the King Street project now.
I'm sorry, I came in late, so I wasn't able to speak with that. But
You know, does I'm not sure King Street falls under DCAM.
I don't think it does either.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a DCAM project.
Unless we've done the insulation until we upgraded the HVAC fully. I don't think it is.
The email from Brian says that King Street is also a DCAM evaluation project.
Oh, we did. Okay. Well, I know we haven't participated in that, so that would be helpful if we can get that information before it goes to DCAM.
Yep.
So I'll reach out to Brian.
Steve, question about 36 King Street. It says that needs that are not covered by Classic's contract are in progress, along with a parallel energy efficiency project designed to help this building reduce long-term energy use and operational costs with additional insulation.
Yep.
So that's outside of our purview, Tim. That's with Jim and the town.
Well, the installation has been completed, and we're still waiting to have a study done to evaluate the best possible HVAC upgrade.
Outside of our purview, but would become part of our purview if the town chooses to proceed with it?
No, because we don't have funding.
Yep, for the funding. Yep.
Okay.
But Mr. Chairman, it would if we came back and then we would go to the November special town meeting to request funding, then it would be under the purview, but you would have the supporting documentation that Eric was referencing earlier, well beforehand. But the added insulation Eric referred to just a minute ago was something that was, I believe it was about $120,000 that the finance committee had paid for was in the remaining budget of the contingency that they had in a line item for the end of FY25. So we had to make sure, and Eric did a great job expediting that insulation, those contractors to being on site, getting it done, prepping it, and performing the service in advance, and us cutting a check before June 30th. So the next step is, just as Eric was talking about, evaluating what is the best long-term heating solution for the building.
Understood. If we only get involved if the select board charges us with that. So if town meeting appropriates additional funding, it still has to go to the select board for them to appoint the PMBC to manage that.
Point taken, Mr. Chairman, and trust me, they'll be appointing. They'll be requesting your assistance.
I would hope so.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And more than willing to do that. So
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, anything else on Senior Center at 36 Kane? All right, we'll move over to the police station. Eric, any updates?
So we received the report. I discussed it a little bit with Brian Forrest, and the chief told me he was going on vacation, and we're going to lock his office and set the AC to a certain temperature and check to see if there was any moisture or humidity that was coming in between the windows. And I'm just coordinating that with the chief and the deputy right now, because I thought it was going to be last week, or 2 weeks ago, and now it's going to be in 2 weeks, I think. But the trim is still off the windows. The report has been submitted. I can send you guys all the report from LLB and the waterproofing company. Did I send that to you guys yet?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I'll send that to you guys hopefully tomorrow. I'm on vacation, but I'm going to grab my computer before I go. So I can send it out to you tomorrow, if not next early, and you guys can review that. It was a little bit inconclusive, but there are some options that we can take with, putting flashing on the bottom of the windows, etc. That might help, might not, but it was not as conclusive as I would like.
Flashing. Yeah. Bottom of the windows have weep holes, so I don't know that flashing would do any good, but
Right.
the last time the chief went on vacation and locked up his office, he came back and it looked like a petri dish.
So that's what the test is going to be ultimately. I think that'll be the real test.
Yep.
The waterproofing company just tested the outside. They just sprayed water on the exterior masonry and windows.
Correct. Yeah.
So hopefully a sealed room will tell if it's a humidity issue, which he believes it is, and all of us believe it as well.
I think originally we had two issues and we thought it was only one. So I think we're dealing with the second issue at this point.
Yeah, so the first issue, which was the headers and the lintels on top of the windows, didn't have weep holes, and those were corrected. So that definitely helped a little bit on a majority of the windows, but the condition is still occurring on a few of the windows on several different sides of the building with different sun angles, different rain angle, all that. So, and the testing also showed that the window that was deluged the most with water didn't have any water come through it, and the one that didn't really warp had a little water come through that had never come through. So kind
Yeah, I
of,
think we need to look at the juxtaposition of the louvers in the ceilings that blast out the air conditioning, and
yep,
you know. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah,
I think airflow in a humidity control problem,
yeah.
but I'll
So,
send you info as soon as I can.
question, Eric,
Yeah.
are you, when you say the condition that is occurring, is this condensation forming on the interior surface of the windows and possibly
So
window frame?
I have not noticed any condensation forming anywhere. It is simply a bowing of the uh, oak trim on the windows and the whole entire trim of the window system separating from the masonry or the CMU block where the window was installed. And it seems to be friction fit and not shim fit, and or sealed with foam or anything like that. So humidity could be transferring in that slight gap between the window and the masonry, and that's where the bowing of the actual wood material is occurring. So it's basically the whole trim of the window is separating from the concrete block wall, and you can
So Tim, the window sill or the window casing is probably about 12 to 14 inches deep. So you have the window, then you have a window sill and the window casing, which is pretty deep. And then what's happening is the casing on either side of the window is warping and bowing in and pinching the wooden blinds, and it's just there's a moisture issue there somewhere.
and there's also a piece of I would say 200-pound, 1 inch thick bulletproof glass on the bottom of the window that is also, you know, adding to the difficulty of trying to figure this out. We can't get that piece out. It's so heavy, and it's it's really really heavy. I mean, basically a piece of metal.
Well, the two channels that hold that bulletproof glass are affixed to the casing. So if the casing is bowed in, it's pinching that glass, and you're
Right.
not going to get it out.
Exactly. Right. Correct.
Yeah. So
So if wooden trim and sill pieces are expanding so much that they have to bow, so that indicates a high relative humidity causing
yeah.
the wood to expand, no?
That's
So
what we believe.
So Tim, all those casings were replaced, in the fix the last time around because they had bowed in. We replaced them. We fixed the masonry on the exterior, repointed where necessary, did some sealing
Yep.
of the masonry, and here we are again back at square one.
so
Only in a select number of areas.
Yeah. There's only I would say 3 to 4 windows that are significantly affected, but since it's a police station, it's a concrete building with a brick facade on the front, and like Steve said, it's a pretty deep casing of the window, and for that to shift all the way in, for you to be able to stick your fingers behind it, when it was cocked to the or sealed to the masonry, is a pretty significant movement of the wood.
Mhm.
so they make inexpensive temperature and humidity data loggers, powered by battery. You can just put them wherever you want. I wonder if it would be worth logging the relative humidity in the space.
Why don't you send us some information on that, Tim? That'd be
Yeah,
helpful.
Good, yeah. It's cheap
Okay,
having the engineers and the waterproofing people do it. I'll do it.
okay. They're easy to do.
I mean, we have the trim off now, and you know the the opening between the window sash, the trim, and the masonry is open, so we can test it in any of those areas.
But I mean, if it's the fact that the air conditioning system is not dehumidifying adequately, you could just measure the humidity in the rooms.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
And just, if it's 70, 80, 90% relative humidity,
Yeah.
that might be.
So I do have a humidity sensor. I could put it in the room and see what the relative humidity is based on the actual temperature, but I think it's the actual differential on the physical wall between the sheetrock and the wood trim and the CMU masonry block, and then you have your brick veneer facade of the front, and then there's also a bullnose detail that runs around the perimeter of the building, and then there's some like sandstone block above windows that the lintels and everything was also replaced on about years 5 years ago. So we pulled all that to allow the water to come out, but it's definitely, to me, seems like a major differential issue.
Yeah. So Tim, if you can give us some information on that, that might be a cheap, method of identifying some issues.
I'll send it to you. They're just hobo data loggers.
Yeah. Yeah. Include Eric on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, you can copy me, and I could look up something on Amazon too that we can just log data over time instead of just going there with a meter and reading it.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have a humidity meter, Eric?
I do, but it's just you go there and read it, and
Right.
that's it. But
It's still useful though. Just walk through the police station, and if it's 80% or more, or even 70% or more relative humidity, that's something to know.
yeah, I thought the chief was going to be on vacation, but I guess he won't. So we'll see.
Yeah. We should have put one in his office before he left.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and the admin assistant and the deputy chief, all three of their offices are experiencing somewhat of a condition. But
yeah, that corner of the building. Yeah.
all right,
Okay. Anything else on police station? All right. How about member input? Bob?
Steve, do you know who's running the project? Or Jim, do you know who's running the project down at the Russell Street School there where they're putting in the courts? Who's overseeing that project?
Yes, that is Activitas is the consultant, and they have weekly meetings down at the school right there on Tuesdays. I believe they're at 10 or 11 o'clock is the weekly meeting, and Parks and Recreation, the school administration, and DPW and myself attend those weekly.
and the building commissioner also, I think.
I'm sorry, Eric.
And the building commissioner also, I believe.
That was the initial one, and he will go in periodically, but
Okay.
There's been strong communication.
Yep.
Okay. Not our job, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
I'm all set, Steve.
Yeah. Anything else, Bob?
No, I'm all set.
Mike? Oh, Mike's not here. Bartlett?
Yeah, I'm all set, thanks.
Tim?
No member input from me.
The only input that I've got is last year we did a high school roof repair, and
Yes.
we have apparently a couple of outstanding invoices we're dealing with. So those will probably be coming up at hopefully the next meeting.
That was a item that we voted for, Steve, that didn't get paid.
Well, apparently when we voted on it, the paperwork was never returned to the contractor for execution, so they never signed it. And then we didn't get it back from them to sign. So today, Michelle took care of one of them. She sent the Rockwell invoice down to Rockwell. They signed it, sent it back to me. I signed it. She said she thought we would have the warrant for tonight, but we didn't. But there are two, one for the designer and one for the contractor. Fairly short money, 7,000, and I can't remember. One was 7,000. They may have both been about 7,000. So more to come on that. And that's all I've got. So next meeting is July 23rd. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded.
Okay, roll call vote. Bob?
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett?
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
Tim?
And yes.
Steve Moore, yes. And that's it. It's a wrap.